Okay, thanks for jumping on the team call tonight, our October 30th. And tonight we have a guest speaker, which is Danielle Hogle. Danielle is a 2-star diamond coach, and she's also a fitness instructor, and she works full-time, and in her spare time she does this business. I've been really lucky to know Danielle for 2 years, and she's my success partner, and I'm really looking forward to hearing her talk tonight about Shakeology and help us get a little bit more confident and knowledgeable about sharing it. So go ahead, Danielle.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for being on the call. I know it's not an easy night, so that's really awesome. And I'm also not used to being on video. I usually do my team calls just over the phone, so I actually took a shower for you guys, and I'm not completely put together, but at least I'm clean. And I did have to clean up my office back here because it's usually a mess. But that being said, so a little bit, so you kind of know who I am, why I'm talking to you, and then I'll get into the nitty-gritty of stuff. So I started about 2 years ago, and I was a recent college graduate who had gained about an extra 50 pounds, had a lot of student loan debt, and was just really unhappy. I saw so many transformations shared by my sponsor, Tara Carr, who I talked to for several months and finally said, okay, fine, let's try this. I lost all the weight, paid quadruple the amount of my student loans, and so this business has been a huge blessing to me, and I just really enjoy sharing that with people. So that to say, tonight I want to share with you a little bit about what I've learned in regard to nutrition and Shakeology in general. So, but I should back that up and let you know that I am not a nutritionist. I am not a dietitian. I have no background in any of those things. I used to eat McDonald's 2-3 times a day and drink about 6 Mountain Dews a day. So I don't come from a healthy background. So I'm not preaching to you. I am just simply sharing what I've learned along the way that has helped me to really relate more to our clients and to become more confident in sharing what we have to offer. So you all probably even know more than I do about this topic. So if I'm starting to talk about something and you're like, I know this already and you're totally wrong, just smile and nod your head and make me feel really good that I'm sharing something that you don't know about. But I know you guys are a really awesome team. Amy, you're very lucky to have her as your sponsor, but she talks so awesome about all of you guys. So I know you guys all are rock stars and you're awesome, and so you probably know a lot of this stuff anyways. But I don't know about you, but my Shakeology is thebomb.com, and I am just very thankful for everything that it has in it, right? Like the 10 cups of broccoli, you know that video that tells how many vegetables it has. And so that is something that I really like to make sure I share with people, and we'll talk more about sharing on social media at the end of the call, and that way I can try and help you with some ways to choose your wording to make it more appealing to more people. So my goal is that by the end of this call, you feel more comfortable and more confident in sharing what we have with Shakeology. What I found is that in the beginning of my business, I was saying some things that I think were turning people away from Shakeology because I wasn't confident. I wasn't really sure what was all in it and really how to explain it. So I was using words that the company would use that no normal person would understand. So that being said, we also want to make sure that we are creating lifers, long-term customers who are going to use Shakeology for the rest of their life. I'm going nowhere. I will never stop drinking it. And so we want to do the same for our customers. And so it's really important that we're sharing with them the value behind it. So what I want to do tonight is, number one, I'm going to start off sharing some facts about Shakeology and some ingredients. Then I'm going to go and answer some of the frequently asked questions that we often hear from potential clients. And then sum it up with some resources that I have found useful that you might find useful as well. And then give you a couple little tips to kind of moving forward. So that being said, facts. I'm going to go through these as quickly as I can. Number one, it's important, so organic. I know a lot of people say that Shakeology is an organic health shake. I personally do say that. However, it is not certified organic. And if you go to frequently asked questions, that's where I find a lot of my information regarding Shakeology. But they let us know that it's not certified organic, but that they expect a lot of things to come from the suppliers where they get the ingredients. And so they are confident that the good stuff in it is actually organic. They are also working, apparently, according to frequently asked questions, they are working on providing us with an all organic, certified organic Shakeology. The reason why it's not certified now is because it would cost a lot more money to get it certified, and so that doesn't necessarily mean that the quality would be any better. It would just have a stamp on it, and that doesn't really, who cares if it has a stamp? We know that it comes from a really good place, and that's all that matters. Artificial ingredients and flavoring and flavors. So if you just Google artificial ingredients and flavors, you'll find a whole bunch of not good, so good stuff. And so we're very confident and comfortable with Shakeology because it doesn't have all the nasty stuff. And another point that I want to make that I'll continue making as we go through this is the reason also why it's really important that we understand what Shakeology is and is not is because a lot of other health shakes have a lot of these ingredients in them. And the question, we hear a lot is, well, what is this compared to X, Y, and Z? And so I'll touch on that later, but keep in mind that a lot of these bad things that I'm going to talk about actually are in a lot of other health shakes. So this will help you feel a little more comfortable too. Non-GMO. So Shakeology is non-GMO. The suppliers, again, have to provide a certificate to Beachbody saying that they are supplying the ingredients that are non-GMO. If you're like me, like I said, when I started, I was eating McDonald's and I was drinking a lot of pop. And so clearly I didn't care what was GMO. And to be frank with you, I don't completely eat non-GMO. I don't eat completely all organic. Okay, that's just not me. That's not what I do. But if you're interested in learning in GMO, so GMO is genetically modified organisms. And basically, I'll share at the end, I'll tell you about my documentary that I really enjoyed, but it just makes sure that everything is the same size, it looks the same. So when you go to McDonald's, your chicken nuggets are always the same. I don't know about you, but chicken usually doesn't look like that. But genetically modified organisms, they modify everything that they do from the beginning, so that way all of our tomatoes, they all look the same. But if you find a non-GMO tomato, it's actually going to look a lot different than what we're used to seeing, say, in the grocery stores. So Shakeology is non-GMO. The processing of Shakeology is, I guess, a cold processing. So if you go to frequently asked questions, you'll see if you type in the processing of Shakeology, it is under, I think, 115 degrees or 120 degrees, something like that. The point is that if it were to be above that, it would really get rid of a lot of the nutrients that we get from the vegetables that are in it. So by doing the cooler temperature, our body actually will absorb the broccoli, the cauliflower, the spinach, everything that's in it, our body absorbs as if you were to take those things in a bowl and just shove them down your throat. But thankfully, we have Shakeology that tastes a lot better than those things, and our bodies still process them just like they would the raw vegetables because of the way that it's processed at a cooler temperature. Most health shakes don't do that. They are processed at a higher rate, and so that way you're not getting all the nutrients that you would if they did it at a cooler temperature. A lot of people ask, is this the same as a multivitamin? Well, a lot of multivitamins are synthetic. So synthetic vitamins, our bodies can't process all of it. Our bodies just don't process the synthetic stuff. So it's a lot better to get all of your vitamins and nutrients in this way because we can guarantee by the processing that your body is going to absorb all of those ingredients. Shakeology is non-soy. 90% of soy is GMO. So again, if people are really concerned with that, you yourself are like, well, this is really cool that we don't have genetically modified stuff in this. That's also why soy is not part of that. It's very controversial, but again, a lot of other products do use soy, but Shakeology does not. Let me pause here too and let you guys know that the reason why I started really thinking about all of these facts and doing more research is because I did an event here locally, and these were the questions that I got a lot. Now, you probably won't get these kind of questions often when you're talking to, people that you're working with. But doing an event, I had a lot of these questions, and it made me think, well, crap, I don't know anything about soy or GMOs or the sugar. So that's kind of why I started thinking about these things and really dug deeper. So moving on, sugar. Let's talk sugar. So Shakeology is low on the glycemic index. Now, you may be like, well, what the heck does that mean? Basically, it just means that Shakeology has a low amount of sugar, which is awesome for everybody, but especially people who need to make sure that they're keeping their sugar very low. Sucralose is something that is found in a lot of health shakes and in junk food in general. Sucralose is something that we want to stay away from because, as we know, if you use, for example, the app that I like to use is Fujicate, you will find that, it's linked to a lot of cancers and diseases and a lot of different things that are just awful. So I like to tell people, if I'm going to drink something that is healthy, but it has all these bad things in it, I would rather just go to McDonald's, because yes, I still love McDonald's, and yes, I know it's bad for me, but I would rather go eat McDonald's than drink something that is supposed to be healthy and it still has the same junk in it. So sucralose is something you really want to stay away from. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes real quick. Sucralose was created in a funny way. So what happened was they were trying to make an insecticide. So chemists got together, and I am not a chemist, so please, I'm using the wrong terminology, I know. But they were trying to make an insecticide, right, to kill ants or any kind of insects. The compound that they came up with was so sweet that the ants actually enjoyed it. So yay, let's make this into food. Let's put this into food because then people are going to love it. It's going to taste so good. So they added 3 different molecules to it, and that is sucralose. And that now goes into our food. Awesome. So it's really unhealthy. It's really bad for us. And again, a lot of other health shakes use sucralose. So what do we do instead? We use organic stevia, which comes from a plant. So we know that it's natural, it's organic, and it's okay, right? So it's a sweetener. So a lot of people may still have a problem with a sweetener, but it is organic from a plant, and that makes us feel a lot better than knowing that we have something that they created to kill bugs. The only other thing that we have in Shakeology that is a sweetener would be from the fruit. So all of the other sugar that is made up in Shakeology simply comes from the fruit that they have added. So again, it's low on the glycemic index, and that information is always on, frequently asked questions or on your Shakeology website or anything like that, that people, if they need to make sure that they're at or below a certain number, it's always there for them. Aspartame is the other ingredient that you really want to stay away from in all foods. So I'm not talking just shakes in general, but just for our health. Aspartame is the other one. Again, it's found in a lot of other health shakes. And my suggestion to people is to always just check the back of their ingredients. Again, the app that I use is Fujicate, which will tell you, yes, this has aspartame or sucralose or anything that's really bad for you. So a funny story though, real quick, let me tell you. At this event that we were at and talking to people about Shakeology, we were telling them, it doesn't have aspartame, it doesn't have sucralose. And most people, right, when we're first getting started on our journey, we have no idea what those words even mean. Like, I had no idea what either of those were. But so people were asking about them, and we were telling them, it's just really bad for you. It's not healthy. So you want to make sure that your products don't have that. Well, apparently they started walking around to the other booths where they had health shakes and asking, does this have aspartame? Does this have sucralose in it? And, and they did. And so they had to tell them, and then they would come back around and tell us, like, did you know that booth down there, they have aspartame in their stuff? And we're like, don't drink anything that has aspartame. We don't want to talk bad about anybody. But it was just funny. Once they heard how bad these things were, they wanted to make sure that they weren't going to be using them. So, sorry, a little off track. But, so again, something really important is to remember that Shakeology is clinically proven, right? So that is part of your toolkit. Don't ever lose that. you want to, again, we don't want to always just throw out like, oh yeah, Shakeology is clinically proven and just keep shoving that in people's faces. However, we do want to let people know that, because that is a big factor. A lot of people may not think of Shakeology as being clinically proven, right? Their doctor's not prescribing it to them, so they don't think that it's the best thing for them. They want to go to the doctor and their doctor doesn't tell them. But we know that it's clinically proven to lower cholesterol, help with weight loss and all of that. And you can actually find a really good video in your online office that gives the details of the research that was done. So that way you feel more comfortable and confident in it. And that way, if anyone who is like me, I want facts, if anyone's questioning you or wants the facts, just share that video with them and it would be really useful. So, and also recently you can check out, I posted it on my page, there was another little, I don't want to say a study done, but somewhat of a study, and they listed the top protein shakes all around. I think they did the top 50, and Shakeology was ranked #1 in along with 2 others. So it was they kind of tied for first place with an A- rating. And so that is also, again, just another point to prove that Shakeology is the best. There's no question. Everywhere shows it. Everywhere, you look around, people will tell you that it's the best. So we know that, you know that, and now we just have to share that with more people. So it makes me feel good to know that, in my opinion, Shakeology wasn't created to make money. Shakeology wasn't created so that all of us could go tell people just to make a whole bunch of money to make commission. Shakeology was created with the other person in mind, with the customer in mind, to help them actually achieve their goals, to be healthy, to be happy, to have more energy, all of those things. And so it makes me confident in knowing that, because when you look at other products, and you can go Google, you can look at their ingredient list, and you can tell that their #1 priority is not the customer. Because if it is, they wouldn't have aspartame or sucralose or artificial ingredients in their product. So we know with confidence that what we have is the best. And so you can talk to people with confidence, knowing that you are actually giving something that they need. So if you aren't sharing this with people, they're not ever going to get the benefits that you have. The increased energy, the losing weight, if that's what your goal is, or simply just being healthier. So I want to, and at the end, I'll leave it open for a couple of questions. But I'm going to talk now quickly and just answer some frequently asked questions that I get, or I've heard that people are getting. And I don't have these written down, so I'm just going to speak as to what would first pop into my mind of how I would answer it. So is it a meal replacement? It can be. So what I tell people is that when I first got started in this business, or when I first got started on my health journey, I needed desperately to lose weight. So yes, I used it as a meal replacement because that was my goal. Depending on what their goal is, will determine if it's actually used as a meal replacement or as a snack, or however as a pre-workout or post-workout. It's totally up to them. I always also let them know that we always want to make sure they're still getting enough calories. So we're not going to, this isn't a quick fix. This isn't a drink a shake and you're going to lose 20 pounds because you're not going to eat the rest of the day. I want to let them know that they're still going to eat real food and they're still going to make sure that they get the right amount of calories. So the meal replacement, whether they use it that way or not, depends on what their actual goal is. How does it work? Just simply, I just let them know that based on all of the vitamins and nutrients that it has and all of the superfoods that it has, it just helps our bodies to function properly. So we're going to digest our food better. We're going to, have increased energy. So we're going to feel better working out. We'll work harder. Just real simply, it's just going to make your body function better and more efficiently. Should I drink more than 1 a day, or can I drink more than 1 a day? My answer, again, I'm not a dietitian, I'm not a nutritionist, but my answer is always, you technically can, but you don't need to. Shakeology has about 100% of the vitamins that you need. Check the back of the bag, not 100% of everything, but of most things. What happens is when you get double the amount of vitamins that you need, you just end up really peeing it out anyways. So you can drink it, but your body isn't necessarily going to work even better or work even faster or lose weight even quicker if you are drinking 2 a day. So you might as well just stick to the one, unless you have a sweet tooth, and in that case, then you might as well just drink it instead of having a candy bar or whatever else you would have. Why Shakeology over X, Y, or Z shake? I will always say that's a really great question. I would suggest that you compare the back of the bag of Shakeology to any other product that you have, and just check and see if the other shakes that you're looking at have aspartame or sucralose, if they have a warning label, which some of them do, of saying keep away from children or could cause headaches or stomach cramps. Then don't drink that. Like, that's unhealthy. So my number one priority is that you as my client, that you are actually healthy. So I am confident and comfortable with you taking the back of Shakeology, comparing it to other shakes that you are checking out, and get back to me and let me know what you find, because I want you to make the best decision for you. And the reason why I do that is because they can't find anything better and they just need to prove it to themselves. And so I'm comfortable with saying that, and I will never bash another company, and I hope none of us do. We don't want to do that. But we want to let them know that, what we have is awesome, and we're more than comfortable with them taking it and comparing it, because we know what the end answer is going to be. It's going to be that Shakeology is the best one. Is it a protein shake? No. And it has enough protein that it can be a meal replacement. It has enough protein that you don't need to worry about any extra protein. But it's not just a protein shake. Protein shake is going to give you basically just protein. Shakeology is going to give you all the superfoods, the nutrients, the vitamins, all of those things that you're not going to get anywhere else in just a regular protein shake. Another thing, I was going to talk about this later, but one thing that I always make sure that I do is I ask them a question. So if they ask me, is this a protein shake? I will turn around and I'll say, just out of curiosity, what makes you ask that? Are you looking for a protein shake, or are you looking for something to be healthier, or what are you actually looking for? And I do that because I want to know why they want a protein shake, because that's probably why they're asking. And more than likely, they've been told that they need a lot of protein, because that's what most of us are told. We need more protein. If we're working out harder, we're lifting weights, we need protein, which actually isn't really the case. Most of us, we get enough protein that we don't have to have any extra. So I like to make sure that I ask them that, because more than likely it's just that they're going based off of something that they've just heard on TV, or their bodybuilder friend has told them that they need more protein, and really they don't understand why they're even wanting protein. What is the difference between the regular versus the vegan? Well, the regular Shakeology, right, has the whey protein, and so the vegan Shakeology is based from a rice and pea protein. So if someone's lactose intolerant, can't have dairy, then obviously they would want to use the vegan Shakeology. So I just got the alert that it ends in 10 minutes, right? Yeah. So let me hurry up and wrap this up. What does Shakeology taste like? I would suggest you always be honest with people. Let them know that, hey, I asked a question. What is your favorite flavor of ice cream? That's my favorite question, because then they're thinking about ice cream and they're thinking, dang, does Shakeology taste like ice cream really? And then also that lets me know what their flavor of choice would be. So they say, well, I really like vanilla ice cream. Cool. Well, then you would want vanilla Shakeology. You'll absolutely love it. Or, vice versa. If they love chocolate, then that's the one that I would suggest. I'll just say, yeah, let's get you started with chocolate. You'll really love it then if chocolate's your favorite. Where can I get it? So I really want to make sure that you know that you should really say, that's a really great question. You actually can't get it in stores, but I can help you get set up if that's something that you're interested in doing. So what are you thinking that you want to do? And the reason why you want to make sure that you let them know that you can help them is because if you just talked about Shakeology, they're going to go Google it. If they Google it, they're going to go to a website. They're going to order from the website or Amazon or wherever, not from you. And we don't want that happening. So how do you make it? I would always just give your personal opinion how you would make it, and make sure you give them a lot of recipes when they're getting started. Real quick, your language. I want you to make sure that you use your language when you are talking about Shakeology. Daily dose of dense nutrition. That sounds awesome. And Beachbody says that all the time, and they want us to say that. but what the heck does daily dose of dense nutrition mean? I still haven't figured that out. I have no idea. Normal person eating McDonald's 2 times a day, 6 Mountain Dews, I would have no idea what you're talking about. Tell me that it has vitamins and nutrients in it. Got it. So use your own language. Talk your talk so other people can relate to you. Remember, facts tell, stories sell. You don't need to know all these facts. You don't need to know GMO, non-soy, low glycemic index. You don't need to know that stuff. You do for your own self so that way you feel more comfortable. But talking to other people, share stories. So my friend Jessica, who lost 10 pounds in just 2 weeks using Shakeology and changing nothing else, that is a great testimonial, right? So find your testimonials and use those instead of shouting out facts. Always ask questions. So again, the protein thing, always turn it around and ask questions. What are you looking for? Are you looking to get healthy or lose weight? Because Shakeology can do both, so I always like to ask that question as well. I heard that on a national wake-up call. Final action steps. So figure out your pitch. When someone says, what is Shakeology? Come up with your quick little 2-second thing. Shakeology is an organic health shake. It has all the vitamins and nutrients that your body needs in one shake. That's what I say quickly. So figure out what your quick 2-second little thing is, so when you're passing somebody at the grocery store, you can tell them. When you're sharing on Facebook and social media, remember, facts tell, stories sell. So be sharing what you're drinking, but you don't always have to post Shakeology. You don't have to take your picture by it every day. We all do that, but you don't need to do that regularly. Talk about how it makes you feel. I've been drinking this chocolate shake every single morning, and since I started, I have so much more energy. You know, I feel so much better. My digestion issues are going away. Whatever it is for you, just be sharing your story, sharing your journey, instead of just saying, hey, here's Shakeology. Okay, so I'll wrap up there. Sorry, I had to go through those quickly, but I hope that this helped all of you guys. If you have any questions, if we have a couple of minutes, feel free to ask if you need anything. That's all.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. I have like 3 pages of notes, and I didn't know a lot of that, but it's always good, I think, to hear it again and like refresh it, because stuff that I learned or thought about 2 years ago, I don't always say all of these things anymore, and I knew them, but I didn't think to share them necessarily. So that was really helpful. Thank you, Danielle. We actually have like 5 minutes left, so if any of you guys have questions about something she said and you want to ask, we have some time for that. So Megan?
I just had a quick one. How much protein do I need a day?
That's a good question. That would, you know what? I'll find that out for you. I have my little book. I forget the percentage. It's a certain percentage that each person would need. Yeah. I'll look. Yeah, I don't know exactly.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I have another one. I have some people in my challenge group who have purchased workout videos, but they are hesitant to make the step to buy Shakeology. Do you have any advice on those types of people?
If they are, for me, if they are completely like, they really just don't want to do it, I would suggest throwing in the idea that they can try it for 30 days. Strongly suggest that they try it for the 30 days. If they absolutely do not like it, they absolutely hate it, they can return it and get their money back. That's usually the thing that I like to throw out there. I don't throw that out in the very beginning to people because I don't want them thinking about returning. But with those people who you're really struggling to get in, I would just really throw that out there, and maybe also ask them, just say, you know, I'm looking for some testimonials of people who try Shakeology for the first time, and, you know, see how it helps them. Would you be willing to maybe try it for 2 weeks, keep record of how you're feeling, how it's changing, how it's working for you, and then let me use your testimonial, something along those lines, to where you can maybe make a challenge group out of it, or something to where they know that they're helping you out, and they're allowed to give their opinion. I think that might draw some of those people into it. Just a thought.
I have something also that I read in another Facebook group that I'm a part of, and I'll post it on our team page because I don't know it off the top of my head, but it was somebody else's response when people were like, I just want a workout program, I don't want Shakeology, and it was kind of like what she would respond to people. So I'll post that in our group. making myself a note. Okay, anybody else have any questions for Danielle? Okay, well, thank you guys for hopping on. I know tonight was not a very convenient time for a call, but I really appreciate you guys taking the time. And I do think that I was able to record it also. I'll post the recording here in a little bit. Danielle, thank you for hopping on and doing that with us. And I will talk to you guys all next week. So have a good weekend.